Hi everyone, I'm Ardeshir and in today's video I'm talking about Ireland Startup Visa. If you have watched my previous videos, I told you that I'm in the middle of researching about all of the countries that provide a startup visa program, and I try to find the best ones that fit for me and also the business idea that I have. I've been applied for some countries, as I told you, like Portugal, and I just want to know more about the available programs. And that's why I record all of these videos that could be useful for you as well. Hopefully, finger crossed. And yeah, that's all. Let's go through Island Startup Visa then. I search for that, and I every time go for the government website. But this is the only place that we need to check. And when I don't understand some stuff, then I go to ChatGPT, Gemini, or other websites. Okay, so they said that you may apply for STP. They call it Startup Entrepreneur Program or STEP. You may be apply for STEP if you are a person of good character. So we need to understand what is good character. Have not been convicted. You shouldn't have any criminal record. You need to have 50,000 euros funding or investment, and the idea should be innovative. They have a guideline that they should explain everything there. Right. So they released these guidelines in 2023, and let's find out. Right. So they talk about tax system. Whenever I don't understand something, I go just into ChatGPT and I ask it simplify these terms for me to understand as new uh, founder. And what else? I was like, more. Yeah, that could be a good idea to use a chatbot, research. Okay, they say attractive holding company regime. This means the country makes it easy and tax friendly to set up a company that owns the companies, other companies, sorry. One big benefit, you don't pay tax when you sell shares in one of your subsidiaries. Okay. Number two, low or zero tax on foreign dividends. If your company gets dividends or profit distributions from companies in other countries, you may not have to pay tax at all. You may pay a low tax, like 12.5%, only if certain conditions are met. Plus, the system allows you to combine foreign tax credits in flexible way to reduce what you owe. A stable and EU approved tax rule. The country follows clear approved tax rules that the EU is okay with, and it has many tax treaties with other countries. These treaties help prevent double taxation and make it easier to do business internationally. No or low withholding taxes. When you send money, like dividend, interest, or royalties from your company to other countries, the country may not charge withholding tax or charges very little under domestic law. This is good for international investors and partners. So now we can understand better at least. What residency permission is available to successful application applicants under the startup program? Successful applicants and their nominate family member will be granted residence in Ireland for 2 years, which will be renewable for a further 3 years. 2 years plus 3 years. After 5 years residence, participants under this program will be eligible for a long-term residence in the state. When required, the applicant will be granted a multiple entry visa for Ireland for the same duration. This will allow successful candidates to reside in Ireland and to travel freely to Ireland for the duration of the permission. The condition of residence and the condition for renewal are detailed below. Okay, who will qualify for residency under this program? This program provides that migrants with a proposal for a high potential startup in the innovation economy and funding of €50,000 can be given residency in this state for the purpose of developing their business. No initial job creation targets will be set, so you don't need to create job at the beginning, as it recognized that such business can take some time to get off the ground. Right. Who will not qualify for residency under this program? The scheme is not intended for retail businesses, personal services, catering, or other businesses of this nature. So they are clearly looking for innovative ideas, innovative businesses, mostly maybe technology based, not like more traditional type of businesses. While each application will have to be considered on its merits, the sort of business intended for this program are those that are part of the innovation economy in areas of high potential growth in the future. Right. A high potential startup is defined as a startup venture that is. So there are some characteristics for a high potential startup that should introduce a new or innovative product or service to international market, like software, involving involving manufacturing or internationally traded services, capable of creating 10 jobs in Ireland and realizing €1 million in sales within 2 years of starting up, led by an experienced management team, headquartered and controlled in Ireland, less than 5 years old from the date registration as per Article 22. And they clearly again and again and again mention applicants are required to have secured funding of €50,000 for their business proposal. Okay, application evaluation process. The stage one, application for investment and immigration approval. In the application stage, candidates will submit their application form and all supporting documentation as well as the required details of their enterprise proposal for approval by the evaluation committees. The evaluation committee will consider the proposal and may seek further information from the candidate if required. It should be noted that the evaluation committee will only communicate with the candidate and their nominated legal or financial representative. The evaluation committee will decide and inform the Minister for Justice and Inequality. We can move on to the next section. Application fee. The application fee of €350 must be paid by electronic fund transfer. This amount covers the principal applicant and all the nominated family members. Application fees are non-refundable in the event of unsuccessful application. Interesting. So for the UK, you had to pay £1,000 to one of the endorsing bodies agencies so that they can analyze and consider your application. In Portugal, the incubators do that and it's free of charge. And in Ireland, they charge you 350. But based on the experience and as a general rule of thumb, when you pay for something, you can expect for the result as well. If you remember, I said that I applied for Portugal, but I haven't received any feedback from them yet after 4 months, even though they said that it takes just 30 working days. I would say when you pay, so you can expect for the result. So I would be much happier if I could pay for Portugal and they could get back to me as soon as possible. But this is the difference between countries. That's why probably it's better to target different countries for your startup. Right. Stage two, issue of resident permission. Applicants who are successful and whose business proposal are approved will be issued with the resident permission when the following conditions have been met. Right. The required funding has been transferred. Okay, these are the conditions. The required funding has been transferred to a financial institution regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. So, as far as I understand, you need to transfer the 50,000 euros to Ireland and under Central Bank of Ireland. And also, the applicant and and if relevant, their spouse or partner has submitted the required affidavit attesting to their good character and lack of criminal convictions. So you need to just create some documents to prove this stuff. Applicants will be facilitated with an Irish visa if required to pursue this affidavit. And also documentation and evidence required to support the application. Documentation evidence required to support the application. Okay, if the applicant is applying in respect of an existing business enterprise that is relocated to Ireland, the most recent audited accounts for that business should be submitted in support of the application. In all cases, a comprehensive business plan for the innovative startup proposal will be required by the evaluation committee. Business plans should be completed in the sample business plan template available on investment entrepreneur page of the INI's website. The business plan should indicate all locations for the startup proposal and how many employees will be located in each country. Applicants will be required to submit the following evidence in support of their application. Evidence of funding of 50,000 or more. Applicants must have secured funding of a minimum 50,000 euros from one or a combination of the following sources. Okay, so about the funding, it should be from one or a combination of the following sources. It should be from their own resources or a business loan, business angel, venture capital funding, and grant from an Irish state agency. Okay, so in my case, it's just my own resources. I don't have any of those. Yeah, so I need to have 50,000 euros. Sweet. The applicant also must provide evidence of the funds that are to be used for the proposed startup, the providence of those funds, and the ability of the applicant to transfer those funds to Ireland. But there, as you can see, they are very strict in terms of that funding and also transferring that funding to the Irish banks, and also to give them, like, I guess, affidavit or some letters to make sure that you just use that amount of money for a startup and not for other purposes. Okay, if the funds are coming from the applicant's own resources, then the applicant should supply a letter from a financial institution regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland showing the amount of funding available in the name of the applicant. Okay. Or if the funds are not held in a financial institution regulated by Centre of Ireland, personal bank statements from a bank that is regulated by the home regulator showing the amount of funding available in the name of the applicant. The applicant should provide bank statement covering the 3 full consecutive months before the date of application. The most recent statement must be no more than 1 calendar month old, and at the data application. All bank statements provide must be original document and not copies. Be on the official bank stationery, and each must show the full amount of the available funds. So the letter that you get also have an expiration date that you need to careful about that. Or there's another or a letter from a bank that is regulated by the domestic regulator, official regulatory body for the country in which the financial institution operates and the funds are located. I guess they mean your home country, if I'm not mistaken. If the applicant cannot provide bank statement, we will require a letter from his or her bank stating that the account has held the required amount of money on the day the letter was produced and for the 3 full consecutive months immediately before the date of the letter. The letter must be dated no more than 1 calendar month before the date of application. The letter must be an original letter and not a copy. Okay, these are the very basic, very detailed thing that you can provide later on. So we just want to have an overview. Yeah, I would say these information are useful, but when you are in the second phase of the application, not now, because you just need to know that you need to provide 50,000 euros in terms of finance, and rest of them should be information that you need later on. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now let's get back to the government website again and know about the process. So that was a guideline that we checked, and there is one step application for. Let's see what's that. Okay, this is the application for that you need to fill out. Who is this form for? Myself. How to complete this form. So everything is clear there. So you just need to have your personal details as an applicant. Seal personal data, your spouse or partner details if you have, your children details, start a business in Ireland. Now it's about your business in the section 3. So it's a very long one, but they are very detail oriented compared to Portugal. It's very a bit different. Right. So there are 2 steps to completing the application process. Submit an online application. For the online application, you must submit the following by email. You need to complete that form that I just showed you. You need to provide supporting documentation as listed in the guideline that we checked just now. And also evidence of your 50,000 euro funding, details of the source of this funding, and evidence of your good character. What's the meaning of good character? What's the meaning of good character and how to prove it to government of Ireland? Good character means that you are an honest, trustworthy, and law-abiding person. It's often required by the Irish government when you are applying for the thing like citizenship, residency, or certain business approval. What good characters mean in practice? No serious criminal record. You pay your taxes and follow the law. You haven't been involved in fraud, scams, or illegal businesses. You are honest in your applications and interactions with government authorities. You are not a threat to public safety or national security. How to prove good characters in Ireland? You need to get police clearance or criminal record check from Ireland and any other countries you lived in for more than 6 months. Tax compliance, evidence that you are registered with the Revenue Commission or Irish Tax Authority. You file and pay taxes properly, especially if you're running a business. Honest application. No false or misleading information on your forms. You sign a statutory declaration or legal promise that everything is true. And supporting documents, optional or on request. Proof of stable residency and good community involvement. Any letter from professionals like lawyers, accountant, or community leader. Okay, now I got it. So yeah, and also you need a proposal outlining your innovative business idea, business plan, and these must be submitted to this email address. Step 2, you need to pay the application fee. You must pay the application fee of 350 euros, which is in 2025, maybe will be more later on. This fee is non-refundable. Application will not be processed until the fee has been paid in full. The reference field must only contain the information as follows. These are also the information that you need later for the if you want to transfer the money. What else we need to know? What happens after I apply? An independent evaluation committee consisting of senior public responsible for evaluating the software. Oh, they consider application and they may ask for more information. What happens if my application is approved? Applications were approved. Will be issued with a letter granting them permission to reside in the state. What are the conditions attached to my permission? The following conditions must be met in order for permission to be granted. You must establish the business as outlined in your application. You must work on this business on a full-time basis. You are not permitted to be employed in any other capacity. You must not become a financial burden on the Irish state. You must not be convicted of criminal offense in any how. Yeah, they might cut your stay if these conditions are not met. They are a bit strict, to be honest. What happens? I mean, some countries you are able to run your business and also uh, work for other companies or work employed in any other capacity. But here they clearly mention that no. Right. Okay, this is the overall information that you need to know at this stage for this visa. And after that, if so far, if it's interesting for you, you can consider it and you can go through it more in details. So you need to be a bit in detail for everything. There is a long form that you need to answer the questions. You need to have a fund like 50,000 euros. Just this could be the first question that you can ask yourself. Do you have 50,000 euros? Or do you have any investor or business loan or anything or anyone that can support this amount of money for you? If the answer is yes, you can still continue with this application. If it's no, just leave it and go for the next country and watch the next video that I talk about another country. I still don't know what country, but I'm in the research mode. The research mode is on. I'm trying to research as much as I can and to find out the best countries that are available on earth for our startup business. So yeah, that is for today's video. That was about Ireland startup visa. See you in the next video.